But again, you're in a smaller range, so you got like this little bit of space here. Your first entry opportunity would have been where at the inverse arc down here. So your phase one entry would have been at this candle. And if you missed that, you know what I'm saying, you reclaimed your 12 cloud here. And so that's another entry of people that use the 12 cloud for entry of that. Or some people will wait for an inverse arc and then say, okay, I'm gonna wait for an inverse arc. And so I know that they coming in with money, but to lower my risk, instead of me jumping in on this lock candle, I get in on the once we reclaim the short term trend as well. So they might get in on this candle. But then if you missed all that, then you can get in on a trend a momentum breakout as well. You see the same type of combination here. You got a inverse arc, but this one also reclaimed the 12 at the same time. You're under your 200, so what can you do if you're under your 200? You know the trend is pointing to up. You're at the 200. You don't have to jump in at resistance. You can wait, get inside of the A plus trade range, buy your calls up in this range right here because you know that we just got above resistance. Now we are fully above the 200 cloud, and you can push up and get your target. So the other thing that we did, I'm just explaining the confirmation systems to you guys. But the other advantage that you guys have is because you have the wolf chart. When you're doing trading, it's other things you have to look at, which is like the higher time frame situation, like what's happening on the daily, what's happening on the uh the 4 hour chart, and what's happening on these other time frames. And so what you want to do is when you're doing your homework, what's your daily routine or what's your after hours routine to know what you're going to trade, what you're looking for before the market opens, is that if you know that you want to try to trade Tesla, like look at Tesla on the 15 minutes in the order block, is swept liquidity on this order block before. It looks like it wants to come down to this order block, which is a what swing order block because it's dark green. So if it pushes through here, you're sitting at historical support and you got a swing order block. But you also want to look on like these daily time frame. What's happening on a daily time frame with Tesla? It's pulling back to the 12 cloud. Uh, Essentially, what is it really doing? This is a previous all-time high from November the 3rd. It broke above it with a dominant candle right here. All these other candles were straddling the previous high, right? And but these even though this was a big green candle, it never opened and closed with the body and the wick above the high of that candle. This one didn't. This one's still touching that line, but this red candle was actually the candle that conquered the previous high, right? And it pushed up, took Tesla to almost 500. Tesla always, one thing to know about Tesla, when it's trying to break out to like a 500, it always gonna stop at something goofy like 499.99, like or 498. But you know, everybody wait on 500. Everybody starts selling right before 500. They always do that when it's trying to break out to like one of those whole numbers. But you see how we got this counted and we're pulling back. But this is really essentially going to be Tesla's break in retest of the previous, all time high, right? So it's down here at the 12 cloud right now on a daily time frame. And then, you can look at your weekly to see what's really happening on the weekly. It's sitting in a weekly inverse arc, right? We got a lock candle from on the 15th, the week of the 15th. And then we have this current candle here. We had this current candle uh, that we closed, kind of bearish. It would have been better for Tesla to close, at this higher one. But this one from the previous, we actually had a break of structure, pulling back down, right? We got this inverse arc or whatever. All right, so they're letting Tesla pull it back, but eventually, so they're going to try to get their earnings positions and stuff on Tesla. Earnings is in January toward the end of, beginning of February, end of January or so. And so we had this inverse arc. We can see in the past on weekly bearish arcs, Tesla has dropped for a little while. On weekly inverse arcs, it has popped up, done decent off of these arcs. And so it's working out of a inverse arc right now. And so you want to look at this weekly time frame, your daily time frame, and these hourly ones. But the other advantage that we had to simplify this process is that you just had to get really good at taking screenshots, right? And so with Black Wolf, the AI, Shon-TheWolf AI, you can take a screenshot of the Tesla's weekly chart, Tesla's daily chart, Tesla's 4 hour chart, and Tesla's 2 hour chart or 1 hour chart, and you put those screenshots inside of Black Wolf or Shon-TheWolf AI and say, hey, give me a top down analysis and a trade plan for Tesla, or just do a top down analysis, right? And so when you do your top down analysis, it's going to Black Wolf is going to remember all this higher time frame stuff for you, right? So that you won't have to be overthinking everything. So now, say you got your weekly, your daily, your 4 hour, and your 1 hour charts given to Black Wolf. That means that now, if you want a day trade, you say, okay, I want to day trade Tesla, and say it's live during the market hours. And you're like, man, Tesla looks like it's about to drop down. It's finna hit 466. So now that he has now the Blackwood has the top down analysis locked in, it's gonna look at this 15-minute time frame. It's gonna look at your 5 minute chart. So if you post, okay, I'm gonna give you the 30 minute, the 15 minute, the 5 minute chart, and I want you to come up with a day trade strategy on Tesla. It's not just gonna think about the 15, the 30, the 15, and 5 minutes. It's gonna say, okay, on a macro level, on a larger level, this is what Tesla's doing. Okay, it's got an inverse arc. It got liquidity right here. It got a liquidity shelf right here, a volume shelf right here. It's gonna remember everything from the 1 week, the um, the 1 week, the 1 day, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. It's gonna remember that top down analysis, and it's gonna consider that while it's giving you the day trade. It's gonna say, okay, so from the higher time frame, Tesla look like it can pull back here, but it has a lot of volume and liquidity at these levels. You got a liquidity sweep level right here. It's gonna see all that, and then it's gonna tell you, okay, for a day trade, if you want to buy puts, it's gonna tell you something like, okay, when it comes up, and it's gonna feel weird while it's happening because you're looking at the 5 minute chart. But Black Wolf already saw the higher time frame, so Tesla might do something crazy like shoot up, and Black Wolf might say, "Hey, jump in the puts at 487." You're like, man, but everybody jumping in the call, and then you're gonna see that thing turn right back around and come on back down because it already calculated, what resistance and liquidity levels are the heaviest structural liquidity and stuff like that on the higher time frame. So when you're building your day trades, even though you done forgot everything you just saw on the weekly and the daily, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So it looks at those levels and it says, okay, this is if you want to scalp, you need to wait for it to pull down. If you want to buy calls, you need to wait for it to pull down here and reclaim this order block and then push and play it up. This is your first take profit at 478. And then it's your net, it's gonna give you, better entries and then your stop loss levels. And so when you're losing trades, you need to be losing the trade because your stop loss got hit. The one that Black Wolf gave you or the one you use based off of the ATR. You need to be getting stopped out, and because you don't need to be you don't need to be like, man, I'm down 60% on this trade. In trading, you got to expect that you're going to lose some trades, but and you got to also expect that you're going to win some trades. The problem is that you want to manage your risk. You want to lose a little bit, but you want to win bigger than what you're losing at all times. Your whole game plan to becoming profitable is like, okay, I'm gonna take some losses, but when I win, I want to win. I want my wins to be bigger than my loss at all times. And that's how you want to deploy your capital in high percentage uh trade ranges. And you want to take trades that are high probability to have trend aligned trades and things like that. And the wolf chart and the way I train Black Wolf, he's gonna let you know the trend, and you can be able to see the trend as well. But while you're in the learning phases, don't misunderstand the process. If you start taking screenshots of your higher time frames, and make sure in Chat GPT that you're actually on Black Wolf, you know what I'm saying, not on default Chat GPT. Like if you go into Chat GPT, let me just go to click on Black Wolf. You want to be where you clicked on on the side over there on this Shon-TheWolf AI. You want to make sure you're clicked on that when you're talking, right?